another episode of Tow and Tell, where we discuss all aspects of the caravan and camping lifestyle in Australia and hopefully have a little fun along the way. Now, our last episode, which was all about the complete electrification of caravans, it just blew us away with the response. And thanks to everybody who took the time to leave a comment, a like, subscribe to our channel, because honestly, all that stuff, it really does help. We're going to be doing something a little bit controversial. Frankly, this episode, it might even upset some people, but what's life without a little healthy debate and disagreement anyway? So this time every year, I like to look back on all the RV reviews and the vans that we've otherwise had a good look at and name my personal top 10. We call it GoRV'S Greatest Vans 2025, presented by Safety Dave. And of course, Safety Dave, they need no introduction. They provide all sorts of equipment for caravans and RVs, from rear vision cameras to tyre pressure monitoring systems. And here, look, I'd like to be very clear about something because I can almost already see the negative comments. This is strictly my favourite vans out of the 40 or so that I've checked out in a meaningful way in the last year. Like, yes, we've looked at lots of caravans, certainly more than 40, but I haven't necessarily lifted the hood on each and every one. But the ones that we've reviewed or otherwise had a good look at, these are my favourites. The other ground rule is that it's one manufacturer per spot on the list. And, there were lots of different vans from the same manufacturer that I could have easily included. This is not an easy thing to come up with a short list of 10 caravans. And you know what? You're also free to disagree. Go back and have a look at all the reviews that we've featured on our website over the last 12 months and tell me if you agree or disagree. Because, a bit of debate, it's a healthy thing. Now, to help me with this exercise, we've got David Sajfar. He contributes regularly to GoRV. He's a frequent caravaner himself, and you might have even seen his silver line in our mag. David, I did send you the list of my top 10 about a week ago. We haven't really discussed it that much, but you're here to grill me on it, and I've got zero doubt, David, that our readers and viewers will grill me on this list as well. So this entire thing could be a great idea, or it could backfire spectacularly. But look, we're here. We all love camping, we all love caravaning, and we all wish that we could afford one of these lovely beasts. So, David, as I grip this table nice and tightly, over to you.
Well, thank you, Max. And I guess you said it yourself, you review more than 40 caravans per year. So how do you pick the top 10? Well, it isn't really about the top 10. You've just kind of picked a cross-section of vans that you've looked at over the year, and they're vans that cover multiple segments, from camper trailers to camper vans to caravans large and small. So it gives viewers, particularly new entrants into the market, gives you an idea of what's available and, the things you should know and the questions you should ask when looking at a van. So it's just a cross-section to get it onto people's radar.
And look, these are also caravans that I think that won't let you down, that offer everything that you'll need to hit the road in comfort. I take into account things like value for money, in comparison to, say, the features list that they provide. Will this caravan do everything that you expect it to do? Does it live up to its promise? So there's a whole host of little criteria that I apply when coming up with this list. And again, I know people are going to disagree with this, David, but yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
And Max, you've got a good cross-section of locally built product versus Chinese imports. So I think it's good that we're going to touch on both segments of the market, and that's reality today. We need to include and discuss that elephant in the room.
So I agree. Look, why don't we get into it then, David? Let's start with the first one on our list, which is going to be
the Royal Flair Piazza. Have I got that right?
You do. The Royal Flair Piazza. It's available in a number of different sizes. The one that we looked at during the year was the 16-footer.
Right. And I like that van. In fact, I had a look at the video just a few moments ago. The fact that you've got that platform out the front, the veranda, if you like. It's the only caravan built in Australia that has that veranda. And that's amazing. I've never experienced it, but it does look amazing. And it's certainly a discussion starter in a caravan park or at a campsite.
Yeah, they call it the Sky Deck. And for the people watching at home, it's effectively a deck or a veranda that lowers over the A-frame of the caravan, and it makes use of all that space that's otherwise not used, and it's just taking up, living space, what could be living space. So it's a good idea that came out, I want to say 10, 11 years ago. Royal Flair adopted that idea and continue to be the only one in Australia that uses it. But it's also the way they do it. There's a lot of engineering in it. It's not something that they've just, slapped together. But look, the nose cone as well has also been evolved. It has evolved over the years. When it first came out, it was quite flat with the profile, but they've added some angles, some shape to it. So it just aesthetically looks better than it did, 10, 11 years ago.
Max, you've experienced that van firsthand. What's the compromise inside the caravan because of that sky deck?
In terms of compromises in the Piazza, well, Royal Flair overcomes a lot of the compromises in terms of living space by using these lowering beds, or these beds that lower over the dinette. They come down electronically, and by having a bed that goes up against the roof and comes down again, well, you're saving all kinds of space, aren't you?
Mm. And is it a huge premium? Is it a huge cost having the sky deck?
Oh, well, look, I'm not going to pretend that it's a cheap caravan by any means. Like, from memory, the 16-foot Piazza was $150,000. Okay. By any measure, that's a lot of money. But there's a lot of caravan here. There's a lot of, as I said, a lot of engineering. So that's, I think, partly what you're paying for in this particular van.
Well, Royal Flair is a proven brand. It's a locally manufactured product. Who is your typical buyer of this product?
Well, I think the Piazza is really appealing to couples. I've not seen a Piazza in a family van layout. In fact, I'm not entirely sure that there is one available from memory, but it is very much, in my mind, a couple's van. It's a touring-style caravan that's going to be at holiday parks. I'm not seeing this caravan going down Cape York or anything like that, but it's a lovely thing. And Royal Flair, year after year, they just do better and better things.
So the key takeaway for me here is that sky deck. And if you're looking at a caravan and you think all caravans look the same, which they can do, other than the decals are different, have a look at this Royal Flair. It's certainly very different. It's certainly going to get you an audience in a caravan park. So by all means, nice product.
I think the big danger with the Piazza is that you're going to have people coming up to you saying, what is this? I want to have a look inside. You access the veranda, the sky deck, from inside the caravan. So you've got a nice little walk-through area, easy to access, and these things are really easy to set up as well. So that's the Royal Flair 16-foot Piazza. Here at Tow and Tell, we're very pleased to have Safety Dave as the sponsor of this episode. Now, as I said earlier, Safety Dave, they're a major supplier of gear to Australia's RV industry. And, I'm talking reversing cameras, smoke alarms, first aid kits, tyre pressure monitoring systems. The reality is, almost every van that's made in Australia probably has a Safety Dave product in it. Now, I'm joined by Darren from Safety Dave to have a chat through what's new for 2026 from Safety Dave. And as I understand it, the big news from Safety Dave is the range of versatile wireless cameras, which the range has been fully expanded for 2026. So, Darren, what's new? What can we expect? How have you changed your range of wireless reversing cameras?
Yes, well, traditionally, we have always had the single square camera. Either comes in different degrees from 45, 92, 120, 170 degrees. But our new product, dual camera. Dual camera is my favourite and also a fantastic seller. It has two lenses in a single body, one camera being a 45 degree to watch your rear vision and the other camera being a 120 degrees for reversing when you're looking down to get into your spot. So that's one of our new products. The other new product is the mini square camera. Traditionally, this would go on a camper trailer, on your back of your car, on a trailer, on a boat, or a motorhome. So these are just exactly the same, pretty similar to the square camera. It's just in a smaller size and gives the same view. Very versatile and very good for tight spots.
And just remind me, what sort of field of view does that one give you?
So the field of view with this is 45 degrees, 92 and 120 degrees. The other new camera, only new, just come in just recently, is the side camera. The side camera can either go on your left side or your right side of the caravan, and that comes in a view of 120 degrees.
Why would caravanners think about fitting side view cameras to their caravans, Darren?
A lot of people have tight spaces to get into. They're going around curved driveways. They're getting into tight caravan park spots. And sometimes in their garages, they're in an awkward position. They can't get into them. So they don't want to hit anything. So they want to use that camera so they're not damaging their van.
And as somebody who has hit something with a caravan, I wish I had one of these at the time. What else have you got?
We've also got a new monitor. The latest monitor we introduced is the mirror monitor. The mirror monitor is very good for people who don't want to clutter up their dashes and have it over the mirror. It's a beautiful picture, and it also comes with a USB and a USB to go into your cigarette lighter, or a USB to go in if the car's fitted with a adapter for the USB in the mirror.
So, Darren, these wireless mirror monitors, do they just replace the existing mirror inside the tow vehicle?
They can do either a replacement or a clip over. You have the choice of which one you'd like to do.
So I suppose if you've got a dual cab ute with a canopy on the back, you can't see out the back anyway with your existing rear vision mirror, might as well replace it with a full mirror monitor.
Yes, you have the ability to do that with our system now. We've made a bit of a change from the wired system, so they will fit all vehicles. So we've also got the traditional 6.2-inch dash monitor, and that is the standard monitor that most people get for their cars. And if you've got a motorhome, or maybe you've got a truck or a heavy vehicle, you might go with the 7-inch bigger screen, which is the one on show just here.
Now, Darren, these are all wireless products, aren't they?
Yes,
so we don't need to worry about wiring a camera to a monitor. What if I had a wired camera and a wireless monitor? Is there any solution that you can offer?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked that question, because just this week we've got some new products for that. If you have a wired monitor and a wireless camera, we now have a receiver. The receiver can plug into your existing power loom, and it can receive the picture from the camera. So that's all you need. You don't need wiring in your vehicle anymore.
One of the benefits of that system, as it strikes me, Darren, is you might buy a second-hand caravan that has a Safety Dave wireless camera already in it, but you've got a wired display in your car.
Yeah, if it's Safety Dave, yes, we can adapt to it now using these receivers and the transmitters, correct.
Now, Darren, these products have been available for 6-7 months.
6 months, yes.
So why should people, buy one of these, trust Safety Dave, considering that they've been on the market for a relatively short amount of time?
Yes, they have been on the market for a short time. We are a trusted brand, and we took 2 years to investigate and make sure that we would have this work, and we have done that.
Now, you've still got your full range of wired systems, as I understand it. What about warranty and any other benefits that you can tell me about?
Yeah, well, we still offer at Safety Dave a 2-year warranty with all our products. And the other benefits of these wireless products are that you can have up to 4 cameras with each monitor. They have reversing lines on there. You can record, you can add an SD card, and the night vision also is very, very good.
Now, Safety Dave, you guys have been around for 20 years. What's next?
Next, stay tuned, because Safety Dave's coming up with the Safety Mover.
The Safety Mover. Well, guys, you heard it here first. I don't know what the Safety Mover is, but it sounds interesting. Now, Darren, if people want to find out more about these products, where can they go?
Just go to our website, www.safetydave.com.au, or call us on the phone on 1800 072 338. And the old-fashioned service Safety Dave gives will answer the phone.
Okay, back to me and Dave to continue our top 10. We'll move on to the next one, David. What have we got on the list?
Okay, let me turn my page here. I've got some notes here. We have the On the Move Galaxy.
On the Move. Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting brand. I remember when On the Move came out in Australia, I was working on a different caravanning magazine. Must have been, 2012 or maybe a bit earlier.
That was Lenny, the original founder, yeah.
He absolutely loved it. I was the first one to organise a review on one of his products. We did a night shoot. We had a fire going. Lenny was just over the moon. He just thought it was this amazing production that we did. And I got to say, he built a good van. Yeah. But the business was sold, and it's now owned by a different company based in Queensland. Yeah. The On the Moves are now built in China. But if you have a look at them, mate, they're good. They're good caravans. But the Galaxy, is an interesting product. So it was a 4.8 metre touring van that they came out with at the start of the year. They had a special launch that they held up at a caravan park in Queensland. And it's so one of the people who own On The Move told me at the time that when he designs a new van, he likes to make sure that it has at least one, maybe 2 points of difference, like wow factor. So when you walk in, you go, whoa, okay, that's interesting. And so what they did was near the dinette create this huge window area that fully opens up, and you can sit there at the dinette and enjoy the world as it goes by. It really lets the outdoors in.
Yeah, it is a caravan. From what I see, it's a caravan built for caravan parks. So it does not have a lot of water or a lot of power or whatever, but it's designed to get you from one caravan park to another. It is pretty confined in there. It's a small van. It's a 15-footer. It's ideal if you own a Camry and you don't want a Land Cruiser to tow a big caravan.
Yeah. And look, on that note, what was it? Just about 1,500 odd kilos care. So it's light. You don't need a big,
Land Cruiser.
And that's easy to tow. I towed it up around Mount Tamborine and had a good old time towing that thing. It was great.
Yeah.
It's ball weight 94 kilos, ATM 2,200 kilos, so about 700 kilos of payload. These are all fiberglass sandwich panel caravans as well. They use what they call like an automotive style chassis. So I think that the things that they're doing at On The Move, they like to think a little bit laterally as well.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of carries through into the design of the Galaxy.
On The Move, even from the early days when Lenny founded the company, have always been quite innovative and they kind of stretch the boundaries a little bit in terms of design.
They love stretching the boundaries.
But for me, the Galaxy is definitely it's a small caravan. If you don't want to invest in a tow vehicle, if you have limited storage space at home, it's a caravan that's easy to store and live with, and it'll give you that 2-3 week vacation every few months or trip every few months. And particularly if you're an older couple with no kids, this is ideal.
And the other crucial thing about this caravan is its price point. Yeah. So at the time, it was retailing for around about the 55K mark. As I recall, it's not the biggest caravan in the world by any means, and it's not intended to be. But when you compare that price for something that's similarly sized and built and equipped, it's hard to ignore the value here.
Yeah. And obviously that window kind of brings the outside in. So key takeaway, it's a caravan that's easy to live with. It's light. You can probably tow it with your vehicle that you already own, and no need for a huge tow vehicle. So great product.
The Desert Master chassis featured under On The Move Caravans was designed and engineered right here in Australia with iconic Aussie tracks in mind, like the Gibb River Road. We certify it for up to 4 tonnes, but thanks to clever engineering, it's around 2 AMU kilos lighter than others in its class. Crafted from high-performance automotive steel, it's laser cut, CNC punched and folded. It's also perforated to reduce weight and make room for service lines, saving weight without compromising integrity. Built with deeper 170mm rails and a 200mm A-frame for superior strength. It's hot-dip galvanised, powder-coated and fastened with automotive-grade rivets. Explore with confidence with our Desert Master chassis under your On The Move caravan.
Let's go, Max.
Okay.
Check our phones.
Now.
Aren't we important?
So important. Okay. And next on the list, we have new entrant Gold Class with the AC19C.
So, Max, Are they really a new entrant? They're part of the MDC group, which have been around for years.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yes, the Gold Class Caravans are built by Market Direct Group. Market Direct Group is responsible for the Market Direct campers, which were released in Australia somewhere around, 2006, 2007-ish. They did this year release a new line of caravans called Gold Class. They seem to have made quite an impression on the market already, and it's kind of easy to see why. If you take the time to look at one, look under the hood, crawl through the caravan on the inside, they're really interesting vans.
So, Max, the Gold Class does come with a full off-road warranty. So, any thoughts on that? Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, with the off-road warranty, it's basically wherever your car can tow it. But we do need to make a clear distinction here. With the Gold Class vans, they're available in what they call Adventure Class, and that is your off-road Gold Class. Yeah. And then you've got your Lux Class, which is more your touring-style caravan for holiday parks and that sort of thing. So, we're talking about the AC19C, the Adventure Class 19-footer couples van. Yeah. That's their off-roader. And to me, this caravan's quite a high value proposition as well.
And is that built in Australia or is that
No,
built?
So Market Direct Group, they do have their products, whether we're talking the Market Direct campers or the Gold Class, they are built in a factory in China. They're built to Australian spec and obviously to our compliance requirements. They're shipped back over here in shipping containers and they get finished off here. So things like in some cases suspension or fitting the reverse cycle air conditioner. So if it can't fit on the caravan because of the shipping container and what have you, then they'll finish them off here.
Okay, one thing I really like about the Gold Class is the fact that the components used Arena Drive, it's Thetford, it's Cowfish, so they're all known components, so you can rest assured you'll be able to get parts or replacement components. They're not some specific grey market, dedicated, unknown product.
No, you're right, and you make an interesting point, worthwhile point, about servicing. Market Direct Group, they have service networks around the country, dealers and what have you. So you buy one of these caravans, you find yourself in trouble, interstate, then there's every chance you're going to be able to get yourself sorted out because they do have that national service network. So that's the sort of thing that I also think about is servicing after sales parts and that sort of thing. I don't know. I just think with the AC, the Adventure Class vans, you've really got to check them out for yourself. You step inside, the bed's sort of elevated. It's raised a little bit more off the ground. You have to sort of climb into it a little bit, but that just adds to the rugged sort of feel of the van, I think.
Well, it gives you more storage under the bed.
As well.
It's a bit of a bush tracker thing. They started their caravans, beds are highly elevated for that reason.
And, they've got a service ladder at the back. All these like little things that you might want in an off-road caravan, they do provide as standard because that's the idea with the Gold Class vans, that they do want you to be able to just hit the road straight away with the van. There's very limited opportunity to customise your Gold Class caravan because they are made in an overseas factory. So really what you see is what you get. So from their perspective, they're trying to make sure that these caravans are 100%, ready to roll straight away. So you don't have to customise and think about, maybe I'll add some more solar and whatever. No, because they've fitted loads of solar as it is.
Well, this actually makes the buying decision a bit easier. When you have too many options, it actually complicates the process and, you sort of have buyer's remorse afterwards. I should have done that or I shouldn't have done that or whatever. But Max, the Gold Class for me, the standout for their vans is the fact they are a little bit narrower because they need to be a little bit narrower in order to fit into the shipping containers. And the benefit of the caravan of being narrower is the fact that it tows better off-road because it tracks with your vehicle a lot better. So it's kind of a dual benefit. So I love the high bed. I love that. And I also love the anti-fog mirror that they have in the bathroom. I've never seen that in another caravan. I must admit, next time I buy a van, it's going to have one of those anti-fog mirrors.
David sold. Look, the Adventure Class 19C by Gold Class, honestly, I don't think you could go wrong. The next one on the list, David, is the Harvok Dream Cruise.
That looks interesting. Very different, and I'd love to get your opinion on the Harvok.
Look, if you had have asked me at the top of the year if I'd be including a Harvok on this list, I don't know what I would have said, because they are very unique vans. They one of their major selling points is the fact that they are a one-piece sort of monocoque construction. But it's worth clarifying. So it's aluminium sheeting, but it's welded at each seam. But it's robotically welded so that the seams are perfect. They actually look more like folds.
Sure.
And in fact, when they told me that it had all been welded, I almost didn't believe it.
So it's like a galvanized chassis, an aluminium frame, and then it's covered, seam welded right around onto that aluminium frame. My question is, how does aluminium and steel mix? What do you think? Well,
aluminium and steel really don't mix, do they? One will corrode the other over time. So they actually do include a gasket between the aluminium and steel. So you've got an aluminium subframe and
so they thought about all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, and the idea is that the chassis and the subframe work together. As the caravan is towed along. And this caravan, honestly, David, I towed it down the freeway at full highway speeds, 100 k's an hour, and it was great. It was really good. They have like a little what do they call them? Aerofoils sort of built in
for aerodynamics
at the front and at the rear. They reckon they've done a lot of testing on these aerofoils. I can't vouch for that. I don't know to what extent they make a big difference. They reckon they do. In my experience towing it, something's working and for this van, because it tows really, really well.
Yeah. Well, my experience with aerofoils is just running the stealth wing on my car. It does make a difference. If it's done correctly, it absolutely makes a difference. But the innovation doesn't stop with the monocoque chassis there. They've got the 48-volt electrical system, which I don't fully understand. Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that.
Well, we're so used to 12 volts, aren't we?
Yeah.
Effectively, I mean, how do I put it in basic terms? 48 volt, we're not used to it in Australian caravans, but I think that's going to change. I think next year we're going to definitely be seeing more and more of it. But it's ultimately just a more efficient way of powering your devices. So typically, every time the voltage doubles, the amp draw will halve.
Yeah.
So a 48-volt system is theoretically 4 times as efficient as a 12-volt system.
Yeah,
theoretically.
Great. Yeah, look, it's a great-looking van. It doesn't look blingy on the inside. When you walk in, it actually looks pretty classy, very neutral, quite classy, and you can tell it's had a different set of design parameters, both from a cosmetic and engineering point of view. So it's something people should have a look at it as a sort of a yardstick of what's possible, with a caravan.
And if you look at the back of it, look, they call it a monocoque construction, and I suppose technically it is. But you look at the back though, they have had to chop out or cut out a large section of the rear wall in order to get all their furniture and all the appliances in, and then they fill that with the same aluminium material and silicon around the seam, but it's done well. Yeah.
And Max, for me, I mean, I like the Harvok, and I will have a look at it. I'm in the market for a new caravan potentially. I will have a look at it. My only question will be, repairs. And I think Harvok probably need to educate their customers a little bit, or their potential buyers. We kind of know how to repair, tin and clad, or whatever, or composite caravans. We're used to that. How do we deal, or how does a repairer deal with this new technology? Will I be, covered and assured that it can be repaired?
That's a very fair question. Harvok, they do have 2 dealers now. So there's a place in Sydney as well as a place in Melbourne. But I think you raise a good question.
But definitely the Harvok should be not just the cruise, but the entire range. It should be something you look at if you're in the market for a new caravan.
I just think just because something's different in some way or another doesn't mean you should run away from it. It might really suit your needs.
Good point.
Now I'm with Graham Pride from Harvok. Graham, Harvok Caravans, they're a bit different.
They are very different, just the way they're made. It's very unique in the industry compared to most other caravans around there.
Well, let's touch on that a little bit. Let's start with the framing.
Yep. So they're an aluminium frame with an aluminium exterior wall, tack welded, and then that's all welded on the outer extremities. So no J-molds, no silicon.
Robotically welded?
Robotically welded.
And then finished with, is it an automotive paint?
An automotive paint, so using a standard colour code, so if something happens, then you can always go to your panel beater and get it sorted out.
And what do you reckon is some of the advantages to that monocoque construction that you get with the Harvoks?
Yeah, well, being a single shell, which is the way cars are effectively made, it makes it a lot stronger. We've got actually a footage of a customer who went into a big hole and put it on its side, but they then continued to travel for the next 3 months. So it held up remarkably, a bit of a scratch on the side and no problems at all.
Now, what can you tell me about the aerofoils that the Harvoks use and the testing that you guys have done around that?
Yeah, so one of it is the aerodynamics. So in towing, you want to obviously reduce your fuel consumption and so forth. Being a little bit narrower than most caravans at 2.2 wide, and then you got the front spoiler and the rear spoiler. And we get a lot of great feedback from our customers that it really sits on the road well.
Have you done any wind tunnel testing or anything like that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so which makes it even more impressive that we're actually using those technologies. Yeah.
Now, Harvok is also known for the power systems. There's a 48-volt system, whereas most people watching this would be more familiar with 12-volt systems. So what do you see as the advantages for your customers?
Yeah, so with a 48-volt system, effectively the best way to look at it is that you get 4 times the efficiency from a 12-volt system. Solar-wise and charging-wise, it's the same, but you're actually going to get more usage out of it. So in our semi-off-road range, we run a 5-kilowatt system, and in our off-road 10 kilowatt is standard, but you can upgrade further if you want. And that in a 10 kilowatt, you're talking around about equivalent in 12-volt terms about 830 amp hours. So it's a major advantage.
Which is definitely a substantial amount of power that you have there on tap. Now, it's the Dream Cruise. I chose that as one of my favourite caravans out of all the ones that I've looked at for the year. I reckon that Dream Cruise wasn't bad at all. I loved the way it towed.
Yep.
I was going down the highway thinking to myself, wow, I haven't felt it twitch once.
No.
And I don't know if that was because of the aerofoils or if it was just the way the caravan was balanced with the amount of weight on the tow ball, but it was just a beautiful thing to tow.
Right. Yeah, and I think with the caravans, like anything, weight distribution is important for any caravan, but if you get the advantage of the design and the aerodynamics of it and the width of it, makes it a major advantage of it.
Now, how long has Harvok actually been here in Australia?
I believe it's, I'm relatively new to the company, but I believe it's been around since 2020, 2021, when it first started. So Ben, the brains behind it all, and the engineer came up with the concept. So back then, some of the earlier models were actually a full steel design caravan. So.
And what's on the agenda for 2026 for Harvok?
Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting changes, which have actually really started already. So we just opened up our Queensland branch. So for all those Queenslanders out there that are wanting to go and see one, then our Queensland branch is now open. It opened last weekend. We had a launch weekend, and we'll also be open for service as well early in the new year. So that's a major change on the business. We're looking to also open up in WA at some point, so that's on the agenda. Then from a technology perspective, we've got ongoing development. So we're continually looking at ways through materials and products that we use in the caravan, how we can get some weight savings, because that's obviously important. You have to have continual refinement of your product. You can't just rest on your laurels and go, yeah, we've done it. We need to continue to improve. It's a competitive market, and customers are looking for something different.
Mm. Do you have any new models in the pipeline?
Not specifically new models, but we're refining them, continuing to refine.
And the benefit to having an aluminium shell as opposed to fiberglass sandwich panels in the way you build them.
Yeah.
What's your feedback from customers been?
Yeah, the feedback we get from customers is they love the technology and how they're built. I think it's the trust in the product that, especially with being the aluminium and the full welding and no potential areas for water ingress. We all know that that is one of the things that caravans can suffer from. And we also, therefore, the other thing that we've actually done is that it means there's no water going to get into your wall space. There is obviously some silicon with your roof hatches and air cons and things like that, of course.
Yeah, and we call them monocoque vans, but we should point out that there is a rear section that's been sort of cut out to allow you to get your furniture and your fridges and everything. But then you put your panel back in place and your silicon all around it. And I've had a good look at that. That's done nicely.
It is done nicely. And the thing is, one silicon you should always inspect in your general maintenance anyway. So, and because it's quite visible and easy to look at, you can if there is a crack that's formed, you can obviously easily fix it up, no problems at all. But it does mean that everything is fitted out before it arrives to us, because we do the second stage manufacturing here in Australia.
So when you talk about doing the second stage manufacturing in Australia, you're referring to the fact that these caravans are built overseas.
Absolutely, yeah. So building our dedicated factory in China, fully assembled over there. So when they arrive here to us for a second stage, they arrive in the container. What we have to do is then put things like the awnings on, the air cons, the hatches. They won't fit in the container otherwise, and they take up every square inch and millimetre in the container. We also fit all the suspension here as well, and that's another major development for us, is that we are going to be centralising all our second stage manufacturing, and that'll be here in Melbourne.
Well, Graham Fried from Harvok, mate, it sounds like you've got some interesting things happening for 2026. Congratulations once again on making our top 10. Now, if people want to find out more about Harvok, where would they go?
Certainly, they can go to our website, www.harvok.com.au. They can give us a call, come into any of our branches, make an appointment, or just drop in. We're open across our branches Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m, and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Well, our next caravan is the Jayco Silverline, the 21 series. Now, most of you know that I own a Silverline and I've had 3 of them, I think, over the years, and looking at a new one at the moment. So let's talk to Max about the Silverline. What do you think?
Well, for 2025, they did re-release it with a host of changes, some of them actually really quite exciting. One of them being the internal walls are now fiberglass rather than ply.
Right. Okay.
They've included a different style shower screen. You push a button and it turns opaque, and it's sort of like a modesty mode. Lots of little different things. What were some of the changes to the Silverline that really appealed to you?
Well, my models are 2020, so I'm kind of comparing it to what I've got at the moment. So what I like about the new models, and I'll be very upfront with you, is I love the fact that it's not a timber floor. It's a honeycomb or a kind of synthetic floor of some sort. Now, that means better thermal properties in the caravan. Your air conditioner doesn't have to work as hard. I love the fact that they've got a fiberglass inside as well, so there's no joint. It's like a single wall right through on the inside. I like the style of Jayco. I think, to me, the Jayco Silverline feels like a beach house inside a little bit. That's the best analogy I can use, And it does set the standard in terms of interior. It's a trusted and proven layout, the slide out and, the bed going out, so you can put your mattress insert in, and if you're tall, you've got a reasonably comfortable bed. All those sorts of things, The Silverline is easy to live with. It's quite roomy, and if you're challenged in what a caravan layout should be or can be, or you're not happy with what you're seeing in the marketplace, I think you should look at the Silverline and just see what Jayco do in terms of innovation in their design. But for us, the Silverline is always an option. And the last point I want to make for anybody that's buying a caravan, any one of these brands is great, but do your research on the resale value. Okay. Making sure that if you are someone that's going to keep their caravan for 10 years, well, maybe not so important. But if you're somebody like me who likes to change their caravan, or like you have a different caravan every day. I change, this Silverline has been probably the longest caravan that I've owned for 5 years. Generally, I change every 2 years to 3 years. So for me, buying well and selling well or resale is really important. And the Silverline kind of fits in that category for me.
What do you think about the look of the Silverline?
I think it's a really smart looking van. We are winter campers or winter travellers, so the Silverline works well. The only negative, and because it works well in winter, some of the black up front, the black vans don't handle heat really well, and the Silverline has got a little bit of black on the front, top and the side, and sort of the front above the toolbox. No, there's no toolbox, is there? Just the front part under the window. So it can get a little bit hot in there, that part of the van, but generally it's not a problem. But I like the look of the Silverline, always have.
And they've done a good job with their updates for 2025. And the exciting news here is worth reiterating. We at GoRV actually have a Jayco Silverline Outback that we are giving away to one very lucky viewer and reader of our EMAG.
Yeah. So how do I win one?
Well, David, you just got to go to GoRV.com.au, fill out the entry form, and make sure you fill out the question, answer the question. If you had this Jayco Silverline, what would you name it? And we're getting a lot of interesting, very funny and amusing questions or answers to that question that are coming through. So, guys, if you want to win a Jayco Silverline Outback, just go to our website, fill out the entry form, and a new one of these vans could be yours.
Okay, I know I can't win it. I'm a kind of associated with this podcast, but if I was to enter, I will. I'd call it my beach house.
Oh, that's a good name. Yeah, where would you take it?
Probably a caravan park where we normally go. Our Jayco Silverline has been everywhere. It's been off road, but very limited, and so you can't go wrong with a Jayco, just like any of the other brands we're talking about today.
And next on our list is a very interesting camper trailer, the Opus OP4. Now, David, this is about as close as you'll ever get to an inflatable camper trailer.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one?
I have. And you know what? Something like the Opus 4 is a camping experience. You know, it's not too heavy. You can get to places that a caravan has got no hope of getting into. It's not like the old days where you had to flick up and, you know, have poles and posts, and then you had to put up the awning, and, it was kind of divorce material, the old camper trailers. This is really all inflatable, and what I love about it, it gives you that tent feeling. And I know some people are religious about camping and the fact that you need to have a tent for camping and not a caravan. This is ideal, the OP4.
It's kind of interesting. It's thoughtfully designed, like the air beams, which are what hold the so when they're inflated, they hold the canvas rigid and taut. So these air beams, they're actually comprised of separate internal bladders. So if one of them gets a puncture or whatever for some reason, you can still use the camper. It's just a case of, removing that bladder, and it will still erect. It might have a little bit of a sag here, but until you can get it fixed, you can still use the camper, because just because you've got a puncture in one part of the air beam doesn't mean the rest of the air beam won't work. And you can also, you can take out the bladder, you can effect a repair and reinflate it. And they do give you those materials to work with. They've also got like little interesting sort of portable solutions to some things. So, for example, on the OP4, you don't have a built-in sound system. So what do? They give you a Bluetooth speaker so that you can just connect it to your phone. You don't have an inbuilt bathroom, but what they've done is provide a swing arm at the rear so you can mount a portable hot water service and connect up a shower. There's a portable toilet. So portable solutions to issues that you might face.
So you mean modular? So I can add things, rooms.
You can definitely add an annex in your rooms. But I'm talking more about the things that they couldn't make as a permanent installation on the camper, because it is a camper trailer. So with canvas walls, so your opportunity to mount permanent, sound systems is a little bit more limited. So they give you a portable solution.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's very innovative. I love the fact that, this thing pumps up with an included compressor. I presume you get the compressors built in. And my only question is, I know what it's like deflating a Lila. It takes 4 people to get it back into the pack. How does the Opus deflate? How long?
You open up the valves on the on each of the beams, and it just deflates very, very quickly. And setup is the same. You flick the switch on the air compressor, and it's inflated and ready to roll within minutes.
My old camper trailer, once it was erected and then you put it down, you could never get it back into that space that was provided. It's like a tent. When you buy a tent, you can never get it back into the original packaging that they gave you. So hopefully Opus addresses that.
100%. Look, it's not that at all. It all goes together or back together. It sort of packs down very simply and easily. I think they've created a lot of sort of elegant solutions to common problems. There's a roof rack. And little channels so you can add tie-down points to your roof rack, so that, you might want to take a kayak or something like that along. Lots of little nice, well-thought-out solutions to issues that I think people would appreciate.
Yeah.
So for me, this was a no-brainer. It's not a new camper. The technology behind it's not new.
But it's proven.
It's proven. And when they first came out with the Opus camper trailer, by the way, speaking of poles, they did have poles. It was only 2015-ish that they came out with the Air Beams, and they called it the Opus Air when it first came out. It's now the Opus OP4. And definitely, I think, one for people to check out if they like that style of camping.
Okay. Well, for me, I know there are people out there who don't want to own caravans because of towability, space, storage space, price, all that. This is an ideal solution if you're a camper who loves their bush and loves canvas and loves that open, feeling. This is ideal.
And quick to set up. Yeah. It is not mucking around.
And family friendly because you got the 2 king size or queen size beds, whatever they are.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And again, just quick to set up. You're not mucking around with poles, which for me is a huge plus when it comes to camper trailers. And next on the list, we have the Hilltop Mawson by one of my favourite manufacturers at the moment, actually, Hilltop Caravans. Have you seen what they're doing lately?
Yeah. Look, they've got some great products. They're a local manufacturer, and I've had the pleasure of meeting the Hilltop team. You know what? They're a nice bunch of people, really trustworthy, as most others are as well. But I just love dealing with the Hilltop team, and the product is locally made.
They welcome you as part of the family. Now, the Mawson, it's an 18-foot, 5-inch caravan. Hilltop built it specifically to sort of celebrate their 10th anniversary in manufacturing. Yeah. Now, the Mawson, it had the X-Guard coated chassis, Cruisemaster ATX airbag suspension with also Cruisemaster's new body control system that helps to sort of level the van both east to west and north to south via its horizon leveling feature. It's quite new technology. Yeah. But they also fitted a high-tech battery management system. Now, this is a really cool piece of equipment. Yeah. It allows you to very easily control all the different 12-volt circuits in the caravan. You can control your reading lights, all by an app too. You can control the work lights outside of the caravan. Quite an interesting and really rather lovely caravan.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing more and more of the high-tech systems in caravans. But for me, the Hilltop Mawson is really, it's a locally made product. All the components that are used in there, whether it be, the Cruisemaster suspension, the high-tech system, or the windows, the awning, it's all locally sourced by reputable companies. And you've got peace of mind for many, many years to come in terms of warranty and replacement.
And one other thing that I like about the Mawson, but about Hilltop vans in general, is that the protection that they give them underneath the caravan, everything, all the vulnerable components. And I bang on about this stuff all the time. You know, if you've got a tap that's sitting on the A-frame, it needs a stone guard. Yeah. If you've got piping underneath, it needs to be protected. All that stuff, Hilltop, they pay attention to it.
Yeah. I love the rear lounge, the lounge in the rear, then the wraparound windows. And it just gives you that, spacious feel. But for me, the best thing about Hilltop, when you buy a Hilltop, and I do actually know somebody I know 2 people that own Hilltops, is you do become part of the family. I think you recently attended their big gathering up in Ngambie, and, there are hundreds of people there, all with Hilltops. The owners are there, and they have one hell of a party. So quite a few manufacturers are doing that now, but Hilltop do it particularly well.
And if you speak to the owners of people who own a Hilltop, to a person, they all just sing the praises of Dharm and Dula who own Hilltop Caravans. They talk about the after-sales service and if something's gone wrong but the van's out of warranty still, don't worry, we're still going to look after you. It's that sort of mentality that you get from a business that really values their customer.
Yeah, and it's a good sized business. The challenge with a lot of caravan manufacturers, they start off building, one a month, then they want to build 400 a month. Don't grow. Just stay in your market, make money, and give me the service like Hilltop do to their customers. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to check out the Hilltop Mawson, although it was a limited edition caravan. That's important to point out. They were only making a certain amount of them to celebrate their 10th anniversary, but you might be able to get one. And if you can't, you will get one very, very similar from Hilltop that you would be just as happy with.
Yeah, love that product. But they're camper vans.
I don't mind a good camper van. I'm getting a little bit more into them recently.
Yeah.
Never been my sort of preferred way of travelling, but I think I'm starting to look at them a little bit differently. And to that end, we do have the Snowy River SRV 22.2. That is a new release product from Snowy River for 2026. They haven't done camper vans before. I had the opportunity to take one out a couple of months ago, and didn't mind it. I think it's based on the Ford Transit 430E, which is a really good vehicle to drive. No problems there, and
great service network around Australia for the vehicle.
Yes.
Again, yeah, really important if you're travelling.
And the van offers really all the things that you will need in that sort of B-class camper van conversion lifestyle. It's got the sideways facing lounge at the back. You can lower the table and then use your infill cushions to make up your bed. You've got a bathroom, a kitchen, a little extra dinette sort of seating area. So that's what you expect in a B-class camper van conversion. Often many of the layouts are the same. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, you're limited.
However, they are offering 3 different layouts with their camper van range. One of them really appeals to me. It's actually got a bed that lowers over the dinette. So that's layout 3, they call it, layout number 3. And that would mean that you don't need to be making up your bed every day, just because you can just push a button and have the bed go up against the ceiling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So, Max, I've owned camper trailers, and I've had experience with caravans, and I've had experience with motorhomes. Where does the camper van come into it? Who's a typical customer? Why would I consider a camper van full stop as an option to a caravan or a motorhome?
Yeah, there are any number of reasons you would choose a camper van. Perhaps you don't like to tow. Perhaps you're not confident about towing. Perhaps you don't have a place to store your camper van. Perhaps you don't have the money for a full drive and a $150,000 caravan, because you can buy this Snowy River for $137,990, and that's a relatively affordable way to just get yourself out there on the road, and it's all one self-contained vehicle. From another perspective, you've got the safety factor. Now, I've actually spoken to some female travellers who much prefer this style of travel because they don't have to exit their vehicle when they pull up to camp. They can literally go from the cab to their living quarters. And that just gives them a bit of safety, peace of mind.
That's a great comment.
I also want to talk about the value for money. I actually viewed the SRV 22.2, the 0.2 is layout number 2, as a really good value proposition. As I said, $137,990 at the time that I looked at this caravan, this camper. If you were to compare that to a similarly spec'd vehicle that was based on a Mercedes Sprinter, you'd be adding easily another 20 grand. And I thought that the Ford Transit was almost just as comfortable, just as pleasant to drive. I didn't sit at the wheel thinking, oh, God, I wish this was a Sprinter.
So what's the use scenario? What's the best use scenario for a camper van? Is it somebody wanting to do a lap around Australia? Is it an older couple? Is it a young, tourists, teenagers wanting to do a lap? Who's a typical buyer of this product?
Oh, look, that's such a good question. Anyone, really?
Yeah.
I could see younger people hitting the road in this thing because they are so simple and easy. They don't require any special knowledge about towing.
Yeah.
They don't require you to understand weights beyond making sure that you don't overload GVM. You don't have to worry about ball load and all of that sort of stuff. They are very much just climb aboard and hit the road.
And you don't need caravan parks. You can pull up and stay kind of in, well, not anywhere, but, there's certainly a lot more options. No, it's a great product, and I plan on looking at a camper van at one stage or another.
Check out the Snowy Rivers.
Yeah.
Again, really good value for money. They've got all the equipment that you need, a number of layout options. Now, this one's also available as a 19-footer. This was the one that we're talking about is your 22-foot version. And I think it's just got broad lifestyle appeal.
Question my wife would ask, is there a bathroom?
Yes, of course. Now, in any of these campers, they are small combo bathrooms. I've never seen a camper van conversion with a separate ensuite, and I dare say we never will, but never say never. So yes, it is a fiberglass combo unit. It's got the shower, it's got a cassette toilet, a little place to wash your hands, but that's
all you need.
That's all you need, and that's what camper van conversions offer you.
Okay,
good for your hip pocket. Jump aboard and hit the road.
Great. Hey, talking about camper vans, Max, let's have a look at the top of the range. We had a look at sort of the typical camper van. Let's look at what the top of the range camper van looks like. And in that case, this is the Avida Explorer LX. What does top of the range mean?
Well, this is indeed a high-end camper.
Yeah.
It's based on the Mercedes Sprinter all-wheel drive. So this is
all-wheel drive?
Yep. So it's the design for outback, bush use.
Wow.
I could see myself, in retirement buying one of these and just go living in the goldfields, for a couple of months on end and, doing a bit of prospecting. That's how I see this vehicle.
Yeah. No, I had a look at it and, it looks the part. You got the big off-road, chunky tyres. You got the lights everywhere, for spotlighting or night cruising. It's certainly got some of the off-road features. It's even got a winch. So you really, I've got that level of confidence to go off-road.
Yeah, but we should point out that some of these off-road features, winch and what have you, are options.
Okay.
The spotlights on the nudge bar were options as well.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You can option this vehicle up to be really capable off-road. So you can affect your own self-recoveries and that sort of thing. The fit-out is pure Avida. Avida's doing a really good job. They've been around for 50, 60 years. So they know what they're doing. It's got a bathroom. It's got an elevated bed with storage space underneath, because that's the thing with these sorts of campers. Storage space is at a premium. That's just the way it goes. So they've elevated the bed to give you storage space underneath. So if you're nice and organised, you can put all your stuff into tubs, slide it underneath the bed. I love the fact that you can get a midge screen.
Yes, on the back. Yeah.
You can just zip it all into place, so you can sit there lying in bed with those
doors open.
And just enjoy a nice breeze.
And Max, tell me about the side pod. One of the limitations is obviously the size of bed in camper vans. They've got a little nook on the side.
Yeah, that's something that Avida has fitted as well, because the bed is fitted east to west.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be. So to give you that extra width so that taller people can sleep comfortably in this bed, they've fitted that side sleeping pod, and they've got some 12-volt fans and lights, TV, and it's a really nice little setup. When you step inside the bathroom, they've got a wood finish to the countertop in the bathroom. And when I first saw it, I did wonder about, is this going to blister? Is it going to, because it's going to get water on it?
Because it's a combo shower bathroom.
That's right. But I did ask them, and I said, no, that's all waterproof and covered as part of the warranty as well. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to drive as well. I took it down the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. We went up Arthur's, and everywhere I went, quite literally, people would come up and they would be like,
wow, what is it?
Can we have a look inside?
Yeah.
I want to see this thing.
Yeah.
They just, it was a real attention grabber.
It is a premium product. The fact that it's on the Mercedes platform, as you said, it drives well, it looks the part, and, if you're the sort of person who likes the best of the best, this certainly is in that category when it comes to camper vans.
The only thing about it is that it's, can I say this? It's almost too good. Like you wouldn't want to get a scratch on it. It's such a beautiful piece of equipment that you almost wouldn't want to take it into the bush because you'd be worried about scratching it up.
Yeah, but it is a serious sort of track off-road type of machine. And not only can it go off-road, the thing is, you've got the power, you've got the water carrying capacity, which is so important if you want to, stay off grid for a few days. This is probably one of the few camper vans that gives you those features to enable that.
And it's got a full off-grid battery system and solar. As you said, it's got the water carrying capacity as well. You can walk straight through from the driver's cab. So it's got all of those, camper van sort of features that you would expect. But you can go anywhere in this beast. I loved it. I loved it. I really
So, what was it like giving it back?
Oh, Look, I never like giving these products back. I always wish I had more time to play with them. And this van is one that I really wish I had time for. Like, as I said, I want to go out to the goldfields with this thing. I want to do some gold prospecting. Will it ever happen? Probably not, because I'm not sure they'll loan it to me for that purpose, but I can ask.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Well, look, the beauty is, with camper vans, they are available to hire, like motorhomes. You can hire a camper van, try it out. Perhaps it is a lifestyle that you would enjoy, and it's much easier to drive than than towing a caravan, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a good choice.
Avida Motorhomes and Caravans, the longest-serving motorhome manufacturer in Australia, are celebrating 60 years since our humble beginnings. And to celebrate, we're introducing new 60th anniversary models with an exclusive 60-month warranty, roadside assistance and cap price servicing package. Drop in to an Avida dealer or visit avidarv.com.au and experience the RV lifestyle today.
And finally, David, we have a van from Australis Caravans, the Overland XT 21-footer.
Now, that's a large caravan, isn't it? It's around the 21-foot mark, is that right? So, well, it's not large. I mean, that's what I own, and I have no problems with it.
But it's designed as a true off-grid, off-road caravan for that full rugged touring across Australia. So, yeah, David, the Coastline XT 21-footer was actually based on the 20-foot Overland, and that's one of Australis' most popular models. They gave it an extra foot in length, and that allowed them to more sensibly fit the slide-out module and allow space for a full floor-to-ceiling pantry on the offside. And it also allowed them to even fit a little pull-out bin on the near-side kitchen, which you wouldn't get in the original, the 20-foot Overland.
Max, for me, I actually like the 21-foot size for a caravan. It is easy to live with. You can tour with it, but you can also park it up in a caravan park for 3 weeks and not feel cramped, enjoy your stay there. So for me, that's an idea. The slide out gives you that space. And what I loved about the Australis is the fact, again, projector electricals in it. It's got, well-known components that are locally sourced. Warranty is great, and to me, Australis is a great Australian company. Well, the Australis to me certainly feels very premium. It is a locally made product, local components, and what's really important, Australis, I think, one of the few companies that actually build in Australia and export. So they export to New Zealand, and their caravans are made to New Zealand caravan standards, which are actually somewhat firmer than the Australian standards. So the way New Zealand handle grey water, wastewater, it's much stricter there. So these Australian vans are kind of built to a higher standard to meet those export regulations. So thank you, Australis.
And there was certainly no shortage of equipment on this particular caravan. Love the slide out. It even includes cup holders. It feels like you're sitting in a gold class cinema. That's what it's like. And it was all packaged up in a thoughtful way with good attention to detail. And for me, David, a kind of litmus test is for a caravan that's well finished is how they seal up the entry-exit points for the piping under the thing. You always see mounds of silicon. Well, no, Australis has sorted that out by positioning all that stuff behind the cabinetry as well. So you don't see those little unsightly bits. It's a lovely van on the inside. It really is. And even on the outside, there's lots of equipment.
You look at the suspension, it is a Proline system, manufactured in Australia with Petters shockers on it. And, it is quite modular. If you buy a Australis Caravan with springs and the Proline suspension, you can upgrade that to airbags down the track. And, all these options are well thought through.
And certainly Australis is no stranger to customization. If you want to make some tweaks to your layout or whatever, they're happy to work with you. This particular caravan, it did have a lot of equipment on it, so a lot of options as well that have been specified by the customer. So it did mean that the tear weight of this van was just a little bit above 3 tonne with a 3.5 tonne ATM. But of course, tear weights do fluctuate depending on the options that you might include. This one had everything, even like a grip sport bike rack.
And that's what stands out to me about the Australis and their team is the fact that I can go in there and I can build my caravan, right? Lots of options. Everything is a yes. Yes, we can do that. You want a Meranti frame? We still have caravanners who want a Meranti frame, and they can do a Meranti frame. They mostly do aluminium and, other technologies, but, you've got the option to configure and build something specific to your needs.
I'm with Mark Chadwick of Australis Caravans, the man himself. Now, Mark, it's been a big year for Australis. You released a number of new models. One of those was the Overland XT, which at the time was just the second slide-out model that you built. What have been some of your highlights for 2025?
I've got to say, the introduction of the slide-out range has been a huge win for us at Australis. Since, as you mentioned, we released a Coastline family van first, and then followed by the Overland. And it's just gone from strength to strength. So we're finding that it's making up probably 1 in 5 now of all our orders are coming from slide-out models. So definitely that, and the high country range. I would say probably 50% of our vans now, since we did the revamp on the high country with the new Monster toolbox and the higher X plate and the edge capping. It's really taken on a whole new level, I think, and I think people are appreciating the new look of Australis.
So you've been going now for 5 years, but right, you and your co-director, you've been many years in the caravan industry. Talk a little bit about your history.
I guess, I go back to the Windsor days, back in the early 2000s, starting with Windsor Caravans, running their dealer networks, and I guess that's where I got my first, intro into the industry. Always had a passion for building vans, and had lots of ideas that I was just itching to get, onto the market. I always knew that I was going to start my own company. I just didn't realize it was going to take me so long, but we got there.
And when you think about the journey for Australis over the last 5 years, what comes to mind? I mean, it's been a big 5 years for you guys.
Oh, huge. And we started during the COVID times, as you know, and you guys have been with us the whole way. I remember releasing our first Coastline model, and you guys did the review, and I think we were down Great Ocean Road. Yes, we did it down there, Torquay, and it was huge. And at the time, I remember being interviewed and saying, "Are you sure you're doing the right thing, releasing in the COVID times? The world's about to end, and you're all just launching a new company." And we just knew. We knew right then that we had a really good product, and I could feel that there was huge demand at the time, and it hasn't disappointed. We've been very, very blessed.
And what can we expect from you guys in 2026? Like, Mark, I feel like there is scope to move towards 48-volt systems, and there are a couple of manufacturers that are already embracing that. And what about you guys?
Well, we're like most manufacturers. We're always got our finger on the pulse. We're looking for new things in the industry, and definitely, I think 48-volt is definitely going to play a big part. In 2026, you'll find that will be a very, very big inclusion to battery management systems for 2026.
And I want to ask you also about the way you build your caravans. So you can build with timber, Meranti. You can build aluminium frame vans clad with composite alley.
That's exactly
about composite or fiberglass sandwich panels, which is pretty important. A lot of people want that sort of construction. Are you guys going to be in a position next year to offer that?
We certainly are. Yes, we've been using sandwich panel in our roof construction for quite a while now, and next year we are definitely going to be bringing that across the board and bringing out a whole a range, which will be a full sandwich panel van.
So just the range, or the fiberglass will be available across the range?
It won't be across the range. It'll be a designated model range.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't go too much. We've already got a name, and watch the space, because it's going to be very exciting for 2026.
All right, well, guys, you heard it here first. Australis next year, they are launching a range of full fiberglass sandwich panel caravans. Now, Mark, do you have a personal favourite? If you would head off in one of your vans that you build, which would you hitch up? Because for me, it would be the High Country. That's your dedicated off-road caravan, and that really suits the style of travel I do. But what about you?
I think you've nailed it there. Look, the High Country is our designated off-road range. It's got all the off-grid features, and my favourite other slide-out range. So you combine the two, would be around about a 20-foot slide-out club lounge in the high country spec.
So, Mark, congratulations. You've made it into GoRV'S Greatest Vans 2025, presented by Safety Dave. The Overland XT. How do you feel about that?
Oh, we're really excited. I think it's such an honour to be recognised for all your hard work. I think every manufacturer appreciates being, acknowledged for, the models that they do. And, very excited and really looking forward to, having that feature.
And if people want to find out more about Australis Caravans, what's your website?
Go to australiscaravans.com.au.
And if you want to find out why the Overland XT 21-foot made our top 10, just go to GoRV.com.au and read the review for yourself. Well, Mark Chadwick, thank you for coming into the Tow and Tell studio. Guys, some really interesting things happening for Australis Caravans next year. 48-volt system, mate. Yep. I am really interested to see how that turns out.
Very good.
So, Max, out of not just these 10, out of the 40-plus caravans that GoRV reviewed, which one did you have the most difficult time giving back to the manufacturer?
Oh, that is an impossible question for me to answer. I love the Avida Explorer LX. I would love to have held on to that, but then again, it is $250,000 worth of machinery. So, I wouldn't mind hanging on to that. Loved it. The Hilltop Mawson, I think. That's one van that I would love to have in my driveway. How about yourself? Out of all of these vans on the list, which would you choose?
It's really hard. The caravan buying can be quite confusing. Hence why the need for magazines like GoRV. And something most viewers or readers don't know, that GoRV has over 90,000 subscribers, all reliant on the information we give you. The many buyers out there all look at GoRV and say, wow, help me buy a caravan here, because it is so confusing. And the fact that you're having a hard time giving back one of these caravans, can you imagine how difficult it is for a new buyer to buy a caravan, right? So GoRV, you got to subscribe and learn.
Well, thank you, David. Can you imagine going to a caravan show without really having narrowed it down and just imagine how overwhelmed you would feel. So I do hope that this list has helped you with your own buying decisions. I think that every van on this list is a reputable and credible product from reputable, credible manufacturers. I wouldn't recommend them otherwise. But look, at the end of the day, the best caravan for you is the one that you're using to get out to enjoy the lifestyle, to get out there and go for a bushwalk, go down the coast.
But Max, all in all, it's been a great year, hasn't it? We did some great reviews. Thank you for my cowfish antenna. That works great. And we did the TV review. We did, Thetford products. We did Dometic products. It's been a great year. And I learned so much by reading GoRV, watching your videos. And, thank you for the contribution.
And to everyone watching at home, thanks for supporting GoRV in 2025 and for watching Tow and Tell. It does mean a lot to us. And congratulations to all the manufacturers who made our list for GoRV's Greatest Vans 2025, of course, sponsored by Safety Dave. And David, Tow and Tell, we started this little podcast with just a few viewers at the top of the year. Our last episode hit 250,000 views or more. This one, 1 million views for sure.
And that's a key message, not just to the buying public, but to the manufacturers and suppliers. If you want to get your products, your message, your visibility in the caravan industry, GoRV is the best vehicle to do that. With over 90,000 subscribers, 1 million views, what a way to communicate your product. We do this partially because we love caravanning. So Max, I think GoRV's been a huge success. Well done to you and the team. I'm not affiliated with GoRV. I'm just a volunteer who loves caravanning. And well done. Thank you for the education that you provide to the industry.
The education, that is what it's all about. That's what GoRV is about. Thank you, David, and we'll see you next time.